Welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Lori.
So this is our 100th episode.
Very exciting.
Very, very exciting. Dropped our very first episode on August 31st, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And we are recording this on September 21st, 2024. So I am beyond proud of us because
Me too.
I think, we've come a long way.
You know what I'm really proud of? I'm really proud that you know those exact dates. Because you would ask me and I would be like, I don't know, last year, the year
never
before.
going to go to you for dates.
Don't be coming to me for dates. No.
No, we're not going to you for dates or numbers or anything technical.
Nope. No.
Creative. You're the creative piece of this whole thing, Laura.
Yes.
And we appreciate that. I don't have a creative bone in my body, so I really appreciate that.
So we are talking about The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode number 1. And this one is called Costume or Couture.
Oh, my God. So
Yes.
funny. That's a great title.
It really was a great title.
It was a good title.
So last year when Salt Lake started, it had a really weird beginning where they were doing like the biblical verses. And then this year, I thought it started weird, too. They started with the ladies like in their confessionals with Heather kind of like narrating it. I felt like she was narrating it. First, she was speaking. Then we heard Whitney. And then we heard Angie. And then Mary. And then Lisa. One of the things I also thought was interesting, in the very beginning, the opening picture of the cast had Angie in the middle.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
And Heather and Whitney on opposite ends. And then it went, I wrote it down. Left to right, it was Heather, Meredith, Lisa, Angie, Mary. I put new person because I didn't know her name at the time. And then Whitney. But then later on in the episode, there was a different cast photo and Heather was in the middle, which is where I feel she should be. I feel like Heather should be in the middle.
I don't
think Angie should be.
I don't think Angie should be either.
So I just thought that was a little bit interesting.
One thing I wanted to bring up that I really did enjoy, because, I'm not this big Housewife fan, but I did like the new kind of cinematography, like where they like zoom through the house and they did things where like all of a sudden somebody's like if Lisa was saying something, all of a sudden her voice would echo and then that would lead into like a flashback.
Yeah.
So I did like that.
Yes. A lot of flashbacks in this episode.
Mm-hmm. And
yes.
Lisa's house was the only one where when you watched that zoom through, you really didn't get to see the outside of her house. Interesting.
I feel like they've all upgraded their homes. Heather has a new home. Whitney has a new home. Mm-hmm. Meredith has a new home, but Meredith has a new home every season.
Meredith has a new rental.
Right.
For 3 months.
So I'm assuming Mary's still in her house. And I think Angie is still in her house, but now her house is up for sale. But not while they were filming. But those other 3 have definitely upgraded their homes.
So let me ask. I want to ask you. Which house is your favorite? Like if you had to pick one.
I liked Meredith's because of the big windows.
Yeah, hers
was. But Angie's has that too, but not like Meredith's. Me too. Right. I love those big giant windows.
I like the big windows as well. Yeah, definitely like the big windows too. But listen, Angie owns her house and Meredith rents an Airbnb every seasons.
Let me bring this up.
Okay.
I listened to that guy, what's his name? Up and Adam. Did you guys ever see this stuff? Okay. Yeah. So he says that he knows of Meredith's family from Palm Beach, because that's where his parents are from. And he says that he's met her a couple times, and he says she's got plenty of dough, that when she's not in that house, she like travels to Europe for a couple months. And I've thought about it, and I was like, you know what? If that's her gig and she's got the dough, it's actually pretty smart to just rent it, because I wouldn't want people to know where I actually lived. I think that's kind of crazy town that these girls, that this is the house they live in, and then they put that on TV. I think it's pretty smart of her to just rent a house for the show. No one, if you own the house, then when you're not filming, people are driving by and trying. You know how you guys do reconnaissance.
We know. Yeah, we know.
So,
well,
I think it's
so
kinda
when
smart.
she first came on the show, her husband, Seth, worked in a different state. And he was basically saying to her, like, we have to move there. So, but then we learned that they really primarily lived in that other state. And she basically rents in Salt Lake City when they're filming the show. And other than when they're filming, she's not there,
Right.
which is fine.
Yeah,
she has a store there. She's clearly has some roots there, but that's, they made it as if he was like, we have to go live in this other state because of my job. But it was like, meanwhile, you were living there. You just came here to film the show.
Right. But if Bob.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. I agree. So in the intro, Heather says the circle of trust turns on you. And then we start out with the Blue Sky Ranch, and Lisa is hosting the party, and she shows up with her sister-in-law, Kim, which I believe is the first time we've seen her sister-in-law.
Yeah, I don't remember ever seeing her before.
And the party's around Valentine's Day, so she's calling it a Bezos party. To give little kisses. It's not spelled the same way. So she said it's to give little kisses to my girlfriends to remind them that I love them, some more than others. Because I looked up Bezos and I was like, what is it? It was she just made it up. I think it's a made up word for her. Whatever. God, I mean, you go ahead, Lisa. You do you. I mean, make up words for your party, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we see, which starts with the flashbacks, 2 weeks prior to the party, Lisa and Angie and Heather are together, and Lisa invites them and tells them to bring friends, and that she's going to be inviting some of the neighbors, and that she invited Whitney, but she was still upset with her about what was said on the podcast, the Nile File podcast, where she said Lisa is a villain.
These women crack me up.
Yeah.
They get so jacked up over the stupidest things that people say on podcasts. Like last year, it was Meredith getting all pissed off at Whitney for the bathtub thing. It's like,
right.
Come on.
Oh, well,
I know.
Like if you had real problems.
Yeah. The bathtub saga continues.
Exactly. So stupid. I was going to do a bath line, and now you have bath bombs. Meredith, if you ever had a real problem, how would you deal?
How would you deal? Yep.
And then we see Mary and Angie show up together, and now all of a sudden they're friends. And honestly,
BFFs.
I'm actually here for it. I'm here for it.
For sure.
Because I thought last year Mary was annoying and did not participate. And she still has her same condescending ways about her, but I don't know why I'm more tolerable of her so far this year.
Me too.
But I just was here for it.
And she got a bad rap last year, like with the whole Meredith thing coming after her marriage. And she did 100% come for her marriage.
100.
So I like that Angie has an ally.
Yes, I do too. And they... Go ahead.
I know. High fashion, blah, blah, blah. I am sorry right now. That coat, I don't.
You can't jump to that. If the red fur cape.
No, I'm talking about Mary's coat. Ugly as fuck. I don't care how much it cost.
I'm sure it was very expensive.
I don't care.
I'm sure it was too. But Angie goes on to tell us that how her and Mary are now friends, that they show up with matching purses, that she invited her to Kathy Hilton's Christmas party.
Mary invited Angie, correct?
Yes,
I can't stand that Kathy Hilton is relevant in another fucking show, by the way.
I don't know how Mary got the invite to Kathy Hilton's. That's what I want to know.
Come on now.
How did Mary get the invite?
Because Mary is like a standout in all of these shows. She gives zero fucks about anything.
Well,
and
that
has
is true.
More money than most. That's right up Kathy Hilton's alley.
And I wanted to put out there. So in order to crack Mary, you need to help her out with lipstick on her teeth.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. I didn't even notice.
Yes. And you have to lose some significant weight because
yes.
That's what one has to do to crack Mary.
Yes.
And speaking of Mary and money, I just saw a social media post. She is suing 2 former church employees, her and her husband, for they said that these 2 employees from the tithing stole $6.2 million.
Oh, wow.
But let me say this. What are you doing as a church? If they stole 6.2, how much is it that you're making? And
that's what I'm saying. Mary's got more money than any of them.
It was crazy town when I saw that.
I agree. That is crazy town. So then we see that Heather comes in with her friend Britani.
I like
and
her.
I did too. She goes up to Heather goes up to Mary, and Mary's like, "You look pretty and thin. You look pretty and thin."
Now on that podcast, the Up and Adam, he had some other girl on, and he was like, when Mary said that, it was like a very like Devil Wears Prada moment. It was like Glenn Close. It's like she just looked at her and said, "You're thin. I like you."
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, and then we see Bronwyn come in, and she's Lisa's friend, and she shows up with the big red fur heart coat.
You know the cartoon character she looked like, right?
Gossamer.
Yes.
From Bugs Bunny. Because as soon as I saw that coat, I was like, oh my God, that's the guy from Bugs Bunny. So I had to look it up and find out his name.
I didn't know his name, but that's exactly who I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's exactly what I thought of. First thing I thought of. I don't care if Rihanna has the jacket. It's awful.
Awful.
I agree it's awful. But I will say this. I am here for her because I think that she is quirky.
Yes.
Unapologetic, and I'm here for this fashion. I mean, walking down the street in 36-degree weather with the leopard print, leopard print boots, and I was calling it a bathing suit. It wasn't bathing suit material, but it was a high-waisted bathing suit bottom and bra.
Mm-hmm. It was hot pants.
It was
a puffer.
They were shorter than hot pants. They were panties.
Puffer hot pants. What are you doing? What are you doing? Even a 20-year-old. Stop.
She reminds me of the Dubai woman. Why can't I think of her name?
I don't watch it.
Uba's cousin. Chanel Ayan. She reminds me of Chanel Ayan. Like totally inappropriate. But this is who she is. I don't think she's doing this for the show.
I don't dislike her. I don't understand the way she dresses. But
I'm here.
I shop at Express, so
are they still in business?
Express?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Only online though, right?
No, they're in the malls.
They are? Oh, I haven't been to the mall in a while, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Freehold and Ocean County.
All right, so I'm here for Bronwyn. I thought that the heart coat was crazy. And Lisa says that she met her at Nordstrom's at least 7 years ago, and she was dressed in sweatpants, and she said she made a comment to her about she liked what she was looking at, and she kind of was like looking down on her because Lisa was dressed in sweatpants.
Sweatpants, yeah.
Which again, I mean, I think that Lisa would have done the same thing if it was reversed, as I think Mary would have done the same thing. Like
probably now Lisa would have, but back then she probably didn't because she was dressed like that. Mary, for sure.
Right, exactly. But also she just got back from couture in Paris. So this woman's got some serious bank to be dressing in these couture clothing, to be traveling the world. And her brand, she tells us her brand is Funny Chaos. All right.
I get it. Did she say what her husband does for a living? I know he's significantly older than her.
She has 6 dogs.
26 years.
Yep.
Wow.
Six dogs, a 16-year-old daughter named Gwen, and a 65-year-old husband named Todd. And she is 38. So there's that.
Age gap's affecting you now.
Well, you know what? I think it's pretty common though in the Mormon.
That's a big age gap.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. It's a big one, but she doesn't seem to have a problem.
To 65.
Yeah.
When you get older.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, when he's 70. When he's 70. Well, and she's in her 40s.
How about when he's 80? Then it's really bad.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Really bad. Listen, I don't think it's great now. Probably.
Let's say they were skiing together.
Yeah, he must be a young 65.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I mean, I hope we get to see a little more of him. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I like her, so I'm here for it.
Meredith comes with her assistant, Jaime, and Whitney shows up with her friend Meili or Meili. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. She says that she has not seen or talked to Lisa in 2 months, and she keeps referring to New York, which we know is the reunion. Yeah. And she feels like she's not close with any of them after the reunion. So this is what I don't get. The reunion last year was all about Monica and really what Monica did. And the season really climaxed with Monica. So I don't quite understand, like, what happened between Whitney and Heather. I know that they fought at the end of the season.
Well, Whitney and Heather, because of what Heather put in her book that was supposedly so offensive to Whitney. It's like, you painted your husband in your bed. Like, come on.
Right.
Whitney being offended.
Right.
About what she wrote in her book. And according to Heather, she told Whitney what she was writing in the book and she had no problem with it. So she was just making up a storyline, in my opinion.
But to be mad still?
Yes.
Don't you remember when she was running out of it?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Now, that friend of hers, Whitney's friend, is really not her friend. No.
Why?
It's just somebody that, she just got cast for the show. It's not like
really.
She's not really Whitney's actual friend.
Interesting.
She's just who came with, she just got cast for the show.
Right.
Okay, that is interesting.
That's interesting.
Then we find out
her outfit was interesting. Very like Barbie core. She had
I actually liked that.
Oh God.
No, not your gig.
I will say I loved Heather's dress. I thought Heather looked amazing with the hearts all over her.
I think that the only two people, the person dressed most appropriately for the venue and the event was Meredith. And after that came Lisa.
The two I like the least.
Well, I don't like any of them, but
I like Lisa.
All the other outfits were just not appropriate for the venue and the occasion at all.
And Heather was in hearts and it was Valentine's Day. I liked it. So we find out that Britani was dating Jared Osmond, the nephew of Donnie and Marie, until the day of the party when they broke up.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Mormon culture, dating Osmond is the equivalent to dating Prince Harry.
Yes, I had
because
that
they're
down.
they're Mormon royalty, right?
Yeah, the Osmonds. Yeah, I mean, we knew that.
Yeah, so they had been dating 6 or 8 months, and they had broke up 16 times.
That's a lot of breaking up.
That's a lot of breaking up.
That's,
I am way too old for that foolishness. Let me tell you something right now. And somebody hurry.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like when I was a teenager, the breaking up was a lot.
Right. But as an adult?
Yeah, come on.
And then Heather admits that she's on Ozempic and that it's long overdue for her glow up. Okay, it is what it is. Then Mary's talking to Bronwyn and she says that she loves her coat. And Bronwyn says, I love yours too because I have the same one.
Mm.
And then we see Britani come over and sit in between the two of them. And listen, I was here for this whole thing too.
Me too. I would have said the same fucking thing. I would have said the same thing. I love your costume.
Yeah. She says, ladies, I'm going to sit down here. I love your costume. And the look on Bronwyn's face and Mary's face. And Mary's face.
I thought Mary was going to fall over. That was amazing.
That was
great.
And then Mary's trying to explain to her that, this is not a costume. And then she goes on to say, well, I know I grew up poor too. And Mary's like, I didn't grow up poor. What are you saying?
Right.
And then I used to put bread in my pocket. You put bread in your pocketbook. I mean, it just kept going on. It just kept going on and on.
I hope that's not the last time we see that girl.
No, I agree. I'm here for her. I really liked her a lot.
I like how Mary was in her confessional. She was making fun of the that girl's fur coat. She was saying it dyed burgundy. Now the lady said, "Now this is what I don't get because I have a lot of vintage fur." She says that this coat is over 150 years old. Nobody dyed their furs burgundy 150 years. Like what?
Right.
What is she talking about?
Right.
Just
unless it was that old and it was recently dyed. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe it was.
I know what you're saying.
Had it dyed. I was just like,
yeah.
So then she says, "Okay, well, tell me about your coat." And she says, "Well, it's Saint Laurent, and we see the price show up that is $15,000. And there are 3 of them. Rihanna has one, I have one, and there's one in the museum. But meanwhile, like we said, she looks like Gossamer from Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. So, whatever. You and Rihanna wasted your money, honey.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I bet you Rihanna didn't buy it.
No.
Good point.
And then Mary's talking to her about her office as now her closet and all the stuff that she has in there. And that's when she, she says, well, I grew up poor too. And Mary's like, no, not me. And then we see 3 weeks earlier, again, we do a flashback. And Heather was at Meredith's new rental, and she's telling her how she has had to have a breast reduction 3 times.
This is bizarre. I never heard tell of this whole thing. I never heard tell of it.
I never have either.
I'm going to tell you, I have big boobs, as you both know.
Yes. Yes, you do.
We don't.
And yes, when I gain weight, they get bigger. And when I lose weight, they might go down a little bit. But never have I ever heard of anybody's boobs growing back.
No,
I think that's ridiculous.
She said she started with a small C and then grew to a triple D. What?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
It's kooky. I never heard tell of this.
Right.
I've never heard of that before either.
No. So
I feel like it's got to be real, though. I mean, somebody can fact check this. It's not like we can't. It's not like there's not
Google.
I mean, I didn't. Yeah, it's not like there's not Google, and there's not like there's not doctors. Like, why would you make that up?
I mean, she's basically saying she got it reduced and the breast tissue grew back.
Yes, that's what she's saying.
I mean, I know when you have a lot of surgeries, you get a lot of scar tissue, and the more surgeries you have, the more scar tissue you have, and it's like it's like a vicious cycle.
She's skinny.
I'm just saying maybe that it's the same thing. I don't know. It sounds a little.
Yeah, it's odd.
Yeah. I don't
believe
the word that comes out of Meredith's mouth. Let's put it that way.
Then she goes on to say she's trying to figure out where she stands because she felt like in Bermuda, everyone was gunning for her because they really were. I mean, before we found out that it was Monica, they were pretty much blaming everything on Meredith. They were blaming all the rumors on Meredith. They were blaming a lot on Meredith.
Well, I mean, the Angie stuff did come from Meredith. How about that scroll Angie pulled out?
Oh my God, that was great.
She wanted Meredith to apologize to her for.
Yep.
That was
amazing.
Was definitely, but you know what? That was definitely like, it was just too over the top. She just came in like a jet engine, like crashing on fire with like her scroll and her.
Yeah.
It was just a little much.
Yeah. Cause she's like, I heard you wanted an apology from me. These are the things I need an apology from you for. It was very rehearsed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was rehearsed, but you know what? I don't like Meredith, so I liked it.
Oh yeah, no, I was fine. I was totally fine with it.
Whatever makes you happy, Wendy.
Yeah, we're good.
Then Lisa says that Jack is doing well. He's in Colombia and he's loving it. He's going to all these coffee shops and he DMs her and he's going to Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
And then Bronwyn says she grew up Mormon and she doesn't know the mission trip that Jack is on because that's no kind of mission trip she knows about. And I kind of agree with her. I mean, I didn't grow up Mormon, but what kind of mission trip is this?
It's a bougie one. Yeah, it's a bougie Lisa one. Lisa's kid. That's what it is. Bougie Lisa's kid.
Yeah. Yeah. But for real, like,
yeah. I don't know either. And then Meredith goes up to Whitney at the party and she says, what's up with the bath bombs? And of course, Whitney says, what? And she makes her say it again. Oh, you mean my bath bombs? She said, listen, I've had them. I had them when you had my line in your store. When he's like, I don't have a problem with you. But whatever reason, Meredith likes to create something like she did.
And she makes it all about herself. And it's it's not about you.
No, it really wasn't. It wasn't.
And according to Whitney, she had the bath bombs for years.
Right. Which I believe that she did.
I believe it too.
I mean, why are you going to lie about that? And then you mentioned that.
She got her lips done more, Meredith. I feel like they're even bigger than last season.
Meredith's face looked different. I agree with you. Her face looked different, more like sculpted. So maybe because her lips are more pronounced, everything else seems
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, they all get their shit done on the off season.
Oh, they do. They definitely do. I mean, I remember that Sonia like every off season, she would get like a whole like makeover. She'd do a detox, she'd do a tummy tuck, she'd do a face, like she would do everything.
Yeah.
And she'd come back like a new Sonia.
Oof.
And then we see that, like you said, the scroll where she, Angie brings out her scroll. Britani is talking to Mary and Bronwyn, and she's telling her about her stepson is 6 months older than she is. And then Whitney mentions that her stepson is a couple years younger than her.
That's just weird. But I'm sorry, it's weird.
I cannot imagine having a stepson that's older than you.
It's weird.
That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
And you know what's even weirder?
What?
It's weirder that you're like making this like your tagline, like this is what you're all about it. Like,
right.
Okay, just like, I don't know. Just to me, it's just weird.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's a little much.
I 100% agree. I mean, I like that they own. I like that they own what their situation is, but like that doesn't really define you, right? Like, why does that have to be like what we keep hearing?
Saying. Yeah, why is that like
right? Own your stuff and then move on. Don't let that define you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Whitney asked Lisa what your problem is with me and a podcast. And Whitney says, what did I say that affected you? And Whitney says, the podcast was 2 hours long. Like, what specifically did I say that bothered you? She's like, I said you were a villain, and I stand by that. And that's when Lisa went off. And not only did Lisa go off, everyone in the room went off.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was a snowball effect for everybody to just lose their shit.
It was exhausting.
Yeah, you didn't know where to look first.
I'm exhausted now.
Yeah, you didn't know where to look. You didn't know who to listen to. They're all yelling and screaming over each other, at each other.
Horrible.
Angie was really the only one who had Whitney's back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Heather was jumping down her, Lisa, Meredith. I mean, actually, I don't think Mary said anything. Did Mary say anything? I don't think Mary did.
No, Mary was talking about how she wasn't going to eat meat because she didn't want it stuck in her intestines for 9 months.
That's right.
I mean, she comes out and you think like, the fuck is she talking about? And then I find myself thinking,
oh,
maybe she's right.
Is that true? Because I'm going to be a vegetarian now if it is.
Right. And you know what the best thing is with that whole situation is when they were, when they originally met and they were on the couch with the lady with the heart thing and
yes.
Now Mary gets seated next to her and Mary says in her confessional that she couldn't relax sitting next to her. But that's because Mary is thinking that chick is stealing rolls now. Like, this is what she does now because Mary's thinking, well, you know what? When she was little, she didn't have a purse. So
exactly.
Now, this is what's going on in Mary Cosby's mind.
Amazing.
It's great.
Amazing.
That's so true. She did say that. Like, how could she say when she was little? She didn't have a purse when she was little.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she said she couldn't relax sitting next to her and she said that during her confessional. But that's why.
So good. So good. Mary, you know what? I agree with you. I'm glad they brought Mary back because isn't she divorcing her husband? Didn't we read that?
I heard that she's divorcing her husband, but I don't know. Like, we haven't seen anything about that recently, have we?
I know.
Oh, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
look
maybe
into that.
Like last season, I mean, the guy was living in Vegas, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Her husband. So, maybe she just had shit going on last year and she probably just didn't want to be there.
Look,
but this season, I mean, so far, fantastic.
I'll be honest with you. I don't want to, if it's going to be all this yelling and screaming back and forth.
No.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Totally agree.
And I also didn't like when Lisa kept saying to Whitney, maybe you're on a different healing journey than I am. Like, and then Whitney's like, you're throwing my trauma in my face.
Yeah, I don't know
what trauma is she talking about?
Well, Whitney did mention that last season, in the beginning of the season, that
right.
The childhood trauma when she was younger that she kind of realized, and she doesn't talk to her father anymore. That happened to her. Like there's definitely something that she's working through, and she let us know that. And I agree with her. Like, why is Lisa throwing that in her face? I really don't get what it is that they're so mad at Whitney for.
I don't either. But
a podcast.
The thing is that if you are on a healing journey and you are trying to repair something that happened to you in your childhood, you're probably not going to throw insults at other people and be shitty. And Whitney was being shitty. So I get what Lisa was saying. I really do. You know, I had a conversation today. I work with this nice young girl. I think she's in her early 30s at the salon, and she's got a little girl, and she's been through some stuff, you know, and she was telling me about something that went on in her life. And she's like, I can't, you know, you got to want to help yourself, and you can't use something that happened to you 15 years ago as an excuse to like not move on
for bad behavior.
Like you have to move on.
Right.
And you know, I really like this girl. She's so sweet, and I thought you're right. Like, I'm sorry for Whitney that she had that childhood trauma. But if you're really trying to grow and move on from that, you're not going to go on a podcast and shit talk other people.
But what did she say that was so horrible? She called Lisa a villain.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't terrible. But
that's what I'm saying. Like, what did she do that was so horrible? And if you had a problem with the podcast, then call her up then.
Yeah.
You're gonna wait and fester about it and start flipping out at her at your party?
But listen, that's what she gets paid to do. It's production.
And if you're gonna go on a podcast and call somebody a villain, you can't get mad when they say to you, I don't, you know, something about your healing journey. Like, you're hurling insults at each other. Don't bring up your, you know, your trauma. Because I'm sure Lisa's got trauma too. So if you're going to be shitty to her, she's going to be shitty to you.
But it's just nonsense anyway. Why would you go to somebody's event that they invite you to when you know that they're pissed at you? Come on, it's just all made up.
Right.
Well, you have to go because they're filming.
And it's not, it's, you know what it is? She probably could have not gone, Whitney, but she's not going to not go. She's not going to let them film without her, because then they're all going to be talking, you know, standing around shit talking about her.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad that they're back. I just hope it's not this toxic thing, because honestly, after New Jersey and the toxicity that went on there,
totally agree.
I don't want to do that again.
Can't take any more.
And even what's going on with the OC and that toxicity, I want fun and family. I want fun and family. I want to laugh.
Like, can we see these girls going on a trip and having a good time?
Right. That's what I want.
I'm tired of it.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Like, let's do that. Can we go back to the Trixie Motel? Can we go to Cabo San Lucas? I don't know. Do something fun.
Do something.
Right?
Because honestly, I'm not into it. Like, $1 Million Listing is so good right now. Well, now it's over, but like,
it's over.
Below Deck. Like, I'd rather watch that stuff. Because this is just exhausting with these women.
Lisa throwing that drink.
Oh my God. That was craziness. I mean, she threw a glass at her own party.
Right.
And it's so interesting to me because it started off so good. Like I said, they had the cinematography. They had that whole like narrative in the beginning, that intro about, signing up to a television show. You allow people into your home and your lives, and we share what other people try and hide, and then wait for the world's opinion, and we tell our deepest, darkest secrets, and we share our marriages and mistakes, and the whole circle. Like, it starts out like so cool like that. Then you go into the party with all the fashion. You're like, okay, fun. And then you get into the dinner and you're like, no.
Right.
No.
Right.
Stop yelling.
Yeah. All right. That's it.
I have nothing else to say about Salt Lake City. So
Me neither.
All right. Until next time, thank you for watching and listening to We Wine Whenever. Please follow us. Give us some comments. 5-star reviews would be great. And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Happy 100. Happy 100.
Yeah, happy 100.
All right.